everyone, and welcome to the Rockstar Book Club chat. This evening, we have a very special guest. We have a very talented musician who's joining us from Texas, and he is currently on tour with Quiet Riot as their current drummer. He is probably most well known for a band he was very involved in for about a decade called Type O Negative, which is a goth metal band, which has a huge cult following. He also played with Danzig, Silvertone, Hookers, and Blow. And he's currently involved in a project that's called Sun Don't Shine, which has just released an album. And
About to.
yeah, just about to release an album.
Mhm.
He has been referred to as the most hardworking drummer in heavy metal. He's also been referred to as the nicest, most humble, most down to earth. And of course, he comes originally from the East Coast, so we were ready to welcome him with open arms. So please welcome our guest for this evening, the incredible Johnny Kelly. Johnny, thanks so much for joining us.
Welcome.
Hello,
Yes.
ladies. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for joining us. What we normally do is our plans, we go around the room. Each one of our members of the book club will introduce themselves and just give a short little synopsis reason of what they're excited to learn tonight or why they were excited to be on this interview. So I'm going to pass the mic to Karen.
Okay.
Hi, I'm Karen John. It's nice to meet you.
Hello, Karen.
Sure enjoyed your show in Grantville, Pennsylvania.
Thanks. That was fun.
It was,
Except for the rain.
except for the rain.
Except for the rain.
We love live music. Linda and I have been traveling all over to see some of our favorite bands from years gone by, and it's just been such a great experience. And as you are wearing our Rusty Rail shirt, I appreciate that.
Yep.
Yay.
In Central Pennsylvania, and we love to promote our local artists or any established musicians who happen to be traveling through the area. Hint, hint, anytime you're nearby, you are always welcome. So thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having me on. I was actually in the vicinity around the holiday. I drove up to New York for the 4th.
Oh my gosh, any other time,
Yeah.
let us know. You are there, for sure.
Yeah.
You could name a beer after you.
For sure.
That would be cool. Have my own beer. That'd be nice. I'd like that.
Yeah,
That would be nice.
you could drink it on all your other interviews and promote the rest of yours.
Yeah.
Thanks, Karen. So I'm going to pass the mic to our singing attorney, the lovely Mary Zervanis Dialectis.
Hello. Welcome, John. Yeah, I am an attorney and I also happen to sing. So it's kind of funny. I don't know if you're picturing me singing in court or something like that. It's not what I do. It's separate. And I'm also Greek. I'm Greek. So there's I have this whole big fat Greek family, which is, kind of fun, but I love all kinds of music. And
Right.
I'm very interested to hear about, your career and your background. My husband loves heavy metal. So I've kind of learned some things by listening to what he listens to. I never get the titles right, though. He makes fun of me. But yeah, so that's why I'm here. I'm just very, very honored that you are willing to have us interview.
Thanks. I'm excited. Excited to be here.
Thanks, Mary. And last but not least, our own Maven coming in from Canada, originally from Colorado, sometimes from California, and sometimes from Nebraska, is the lovely Donna Thayer. She is a musician herself, having been in game theory and hacks with Steve Kilby. She is also a math nerd and chemistry teacher and an overall lovely person. Welcome, Donnette.
Oh, thank you, Linda. Yeah, so I don't have much to add to what Linda had to say there. I'm pleased to be here. Music's been a big part of my life for a really long time, and I'm grateful to Linda and Karen and Mary for facilitating all of this. And I hope somebody gives Linda an introduction because she has just been
right. Last but not least.
It's right.
Organized everything and just is so diligent about making sure everything goes smoothly. So Karen, you probably know more about Linda than anybody. So
Linda is a force of nature. She was working all day today in her real job and then also trying to make our technical issues work here. So yeah, force of nature for sure. Thanks, Linda.
Thank you so much. I have to say, this is just an aside. Something I found out is that Johnny is the same age as Karen and Mary and I. So we all
Oh,
graduated in 1980. Oh, I'll give our age out. 1986 from high school. So we probably have some very similar musical influences, which I find really interesting. And you're from the East Coast, so I feel like there has to
Yes,
be
yeah,
some similarities there. But thank
yeah,
you for
you
that.
guys have a lot in common then.
Yes.
yeah.
And Donette is our musical maven. She's our guru of everything music. So,
Hmm. Okay.
so
That's very kind of you. Thank you.
well, thanks for coming, everyone. So we're just going to start with some questions. So if you're ready.
Okay.
So you've recently joined Quiet Riot in 2020, 2021, taking over the drumming from Frankie Banali. So how has it been for you joining a band that was already in existence since the 70s? It's just a huge name. It's a well-known heavy metal band that I feel like was an 80s band, but actually started in the 70s. You're working with Rudy, who we all interviewed Rudy, and we
Right. Rudy was on your show.
Yes,
Yes.
we love Rudy. He's just such a great
Yeah.
guy. So what is it like working with him and joining a band where he's not even actually an original member, but he's from the mental health era. So he's like kind of he's your original, and then you come in and so what was it like joining him? Did he give you any advice, or how does it feel to
Well,
be a band you grew up with?
I was playing in the band for a couple of years before Rudy came in. I started playing in the band when Frankie was still alive. When
Okay.
Frankie was going in for treatments, and if I I was just trying to be like nice and just trying to be a friend, where I was just talking to Alex because I play with Alex and Hookers and Blow for years, and I knew that Frankie was sick, and I was just, it started out, they were playing in Dallas. They had a show coming up in Dallas. And I knew that Frankie wasn't feeling well. I knew he was going in for chemo treatments and stuff. So I had to ask Alex if he wanted me to like help out Frankie for that show, keep an eye on him, like, just help him like setting up and stuff so that he would have more energy for the show. And Frankie was into the idea. And so from there, I had mentioned it to Alex, and I really wasn't expecting anything to come of it. I turned around to Alex one day and I was like, look, if you ever get stuck, Frankie's not up to it or whatever. I said, if you need me, to step in, if you need somebody, I'll cover for him. Never really expecting anything to come of it. And 2 days before that Dallas show, Alex called me and he's like, we need you to do the show. And from there, it was, I guess I was on standby if Frankie wasn't healthy enough, which was most of the time because he really wasn't. He wasn't doing any flying. He did a couple of shows in California.
We've lost your
Some of the
voice.
sound.
Your sound just went out. Your sound is out.
Yeah, John, your sound just stopped. Maybe he can't hear us either.
Hmm.
A day of technical difficulties.
Let's see if I can send him a chat.
Or whatever.
Oh, there it
there he
is.
is
It's
back.
back.
Your
Was I
sound was out.
was I doing all that talking and there was nothing?
Yeah,
Yes.
and it was so interesting too. So can you just repeat
And we were
everything?
trying to tell you, but I don't think you could hear us
No,
either.
you got to wave.
Yeah.
You were reading your lips.
Oh my goodness.
All right, where did I get cut off?
You were on standby and you
That's
weren't really
right.
you weren't expecting anything to happen, but then
Yes, and then they kept on calling me, asking me, "Are you available for this weekend? Are you available for this date? Are you available for this date?" Can you hear me?
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, good. And and then it was, "Are you available for the rest of the year?" And I had a tour booked with another band to go to Europe for a couple of weeks in the winter. And that was it. And then after that, I was kind of staying with the band full time until ultimately, when Frankie passed away. And then before Frankie passed away, he was getting everything in order about, getting his affairs in order. And one of the things he wanted to do, he wanted to keep the band going. He wanted the band to keep going. And he was like, call Kelly. And Frankie wanted me to take over as the drummer for Quiet Riot from there. So I was in the band a couple of years before Rudy came on.
okay.
And then Rudy comes to the band, and it was like changed everything, and wound up getting along really well, which is great. I mean, Rudy's such an easygoing guy, and he's really sweet, and he's very nice, and I was nervous at first, it's Rudy Sarzo, and so it's like, Jesus, now he's stuck with me. I felt bad for him. I was like, this guy has this storied, illustrious, career, and now he's stuck with me, and I felt bad for him in that sense.
Oh, no.
But he tolerates me, so it's good. It's my charming personality.
Yeah.
It's the other 23 hours in the day that matter.
Aw. Karen? Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
So anyway, that's how I wound up in Quiet Riot. And it's just been going nonstop since then. And that was I first started playing with them in like 2019. So it's like 6 years now since I started playing with them. And it's busy, like pretty much almost every weekend. This year started out a little bit slow. I was home for the first 2 months. January and February we didn't do anything. So and now it's summer, and now we're in full swing. It's pretty busy,
Did they make like a conscious decision to only want to do weekends, and that way?
No, for that kind of music, that's pretty much what all the bands do. They usually there aren't too many bands from that genre that'll actually stay out on the tour bus and stay out for weeks at a time. Because usually the gigs that are available to them are usually between Thursdays through Sundays.
Yeah.
So there really isn't too much. There isn't too much available, Monday through Wednesday.
Well, since we went to the meet and greet, we met all of you. I was curious if you could describe each member of the band with one word, and how would they describe you with one word?
I'm afraid of what they're going to say about me.
So,
Rudy's sweet.
Okay.
Alex is the glue. Jizzy's hard to characterize. Yeah. He is. He's a pro. One of the best singers I've ever worked with, and he's very consistent. Shows up, delivers every night. Never any excuses or anything, which is pretty awesome. But yeah, that's it. That's the three of them.
Okay, what about you?
Me?
So how do you think they would describe it?
I don't know. What did Derek Small say? Lukewarm water from Spinal Tap. Lukewarm water.
I
don't know about that.
doubt that. Karen, do you want to ask a question?
Sure. I'm wondering what your perspective is on bands that have lost members over the years but continue to tour and put on great entertaining shows, but people may call them cover bands. And what do you feel about that? And then like a band like Foreigner, who has no original members anymore, and they get inducted into the Hall of Fame. Should everybody be included, all the members over the years, or just those originals?
Oh, that's a lot of questions in one question. It seems like in this kind of music, it seems to be a lot more criticism about the lineup from people. Like it seems to have an exceptional amount of haters. It seems. Take a band all right, for instance, Foreigner. Mick Jones was there for many years before his health stopped them from touring, and now there aren't any members of the original lineup in the band. And as a kid, I was a huge Foreigner fan, and I know for me, I would probably still go because that lineup had kind of established itself as the current iteration of Foreigner for a long time. Uh, I'm sure there's plenty of bands out there that don't have any original members that nobody knows or even cares.
Yeah.
And for those bands, their hits don't have a face on it. So people would just go to hear those hits, the songs that they know, like, oh, that band, like whatever. Like if I went to go see, say, like a band like Chicago, there's been a million members in that band. I couldn't tell you a name of one of the original guys. Oh wait, Seraphine, something like that.
Robert
The
Lamb.
drummer.
Robert Lamb.
I don't know that.
No.
I don't know that. But if I was going to go see Chicago, I wouldn't care.
Yeah.
But that's me. And but I would be going there to hear those hits. And I think there's plenty of bands out there doing that. And if people want to go see it, people want to hear those songs, then what's the problem with it? Nobody's sitting around like trying to reinvent the wheel or like trying to conquer the world. Everybody's just going out there playing the hits. And it brings people together. They have this nostalgic feel to it, and it's like they're remember what we were doing then. Remember stuff like that. I don't think there's any harm being done at all. And as far as like metal bands and stuff like that, I think Pantera doing what they're doing now has completely changed the game as far as like bands getting together with original members or non-original members or anything like that. And as far as Quiet Riot is concerned, that's the original lineup. I don't want to hear about those other guys that played with Randy Rhoads. Randy Rhoads was in the band. Randy is legitimately in the band. The other two, they're on 2 records that 6 people own in Japan. It's a whole lot of who cares. The lineup that had Rudy Sarzo in it, that's the one that sold 10 million copies that people know, So as far as like original, he's the original guy in Quiet Riot. When he joined the band, before the big record came out, when he joined the band, it was still called Dubrow. Oh. And when he was recording Come On Feel the Noise and Slick Black Cadillac and all that other stuff, it was called Dubrow at the time. Based after Kevin, and then Kevin wanted to change it back to Quiet Riot, and so to me that's the lineup with Frankie. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. Hardly anyone knows about Drew Forsythe and Kelly Garney and stuff. So there's people that are like, oh, it's not the original lineup. Who gives a shit? Really, nobody cares. What people care about is the people that they saw on MTV on those hits. Yeah. That's who they care about. That's the lineup. That's the classic lineup. Fight me on it. I don't care.
No, I mean, we've gone to see Foreigner like 7 times. We've gone to see the Foreigner of today, and we love that band. I mean, I love that band, and it's just like I get so mad when people say, "Well, those aren't the original people." Well, they haven't had original people in it for like half my life. So.
Right. Who cares?
Yeah.
Who cares? Yeah. You went to the show, you heard all those songs. Like we last summer we played a festival. It was kind of like an M3 type thing, and I forget where it was. But anyway, the night before, Lou Gramm was playing with Night Ranger. They were playing the night before in the same room. And I had never seen Foreigner. I never saw Lou Gramm perform or whatever. And so I wanted to see it. And so we're watching the show, and from the start of his set to the end of it was just one hit bigger than the next one. The whole set was full of hits. And he sounded amazing. He sounded really good that night. And I know that he's had some health issues. He had some kind of like brain surgery or something like that years ago. And that affected his ability to sing, from what I understand. And so to see him perform and to sound as good as he did I was really happy. It was really amazing.
Yeah.
And every song, one hit, bigger than the next one. Until I think he ended the show with like, "I want to know what love is," and then if you think about how huge that song was,
It was massive. Yeah.
massive, massive.
Hmm.
But yeah, people still want to go see that, and Foreigners, the current lineup that Foreigner is now, they're still filling rooms, and you know, if it was that much of an issue, people wouldn't be going to the show and they wouldn't be working.
Right.
That's
That's the
right.
bottom. That's really the bottom line to it. But the music is strong enough on its own. You know, who's playing it doesn't have such a emphasis
I
on
think
it.
a certain amount of musical lineage progresses through from one band member to another, though, and you know, you might get little tips about how to play. I know I did from my time in game theory and with Hex. It'd be like, oh, you need to do it this way, and so there gets to be sort of a culture within a band. I think that maybe
Yeah,
doesn't necessarily rely on the original members, but it's a culture that does progress through additional new members.
yeah, it's the songs. The songs. If
Yeah.
the songs are strong,
Right.
you know, and then the people that come in do a good job with it, the songs still remain that potent. I know that, like with like for me, I've never really been able to like repeat anything twice. Like I'm always playing something different, you know. And like with Quiet Riot, I'm playing the stuff kind of the way that Frankie was playing it live, not so much like how the record is, because
Oh, yeah, they can be so different.
Frankie was doing a lot of different things, I guess. 40 years later, 35 years later, you know, change things up a little bit. But so like when I stepped in, and because it also was so last minute, I had 2 days to learn a set.
I was wondering about that.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah, I had 2 days to learn it. So I was basically going on YouTube and looking to see how they were performing the songs live, so that it would be more comfortable for the other guys, the rest of the band, so that they weren't like, you know, turning around going, "What was that? What the hell's he doing back there?" So I kind of stuck to what they were doing in the live setting. And after Frankie passed away and when Rudy came back, we kind of like modified a couple of things, a couple of minor things here and there, you know, but not too much.
Mary, do you have a question?
Sure. I was thinking about your touring and all the concerts that you have, and how do you save your voice just as a singer, that just some minor singing? I don't know how, if there's a prep that you do. Do you have any rituals that you do pre-gig, even for good luck or anything like that?
I don't sing, but I watch Jizzy. Jizzy does some
Right.
exercises. He does some exercises. Doesn't talk too much in general.
But then do you have any
He's saving his
special,
voice.
trying to say, but do you have any special rituals that you do beforehand to get warmed up, or like for good luck or anything like that?
I do a little bit of stretching, but that's about it. Years ago, with when I was in Typo, I had learned, like, you know, a whole bunch of different stretches and stuff, and I forget what festival we were playing. I think it was like Grass Pop Festival, which is in like Belgium, and it's like, I don't know, maybe like 65, 70,000 people. And my wrist had been bothering me for a few days. And I had gone to the stage. This was before our set. I had gone to the stage just to see how my kit was set up, because usually you don't have sound checks or anything at festivals. They just line your stuff up. All the drum risers are all on wheels, and they just rotate them, and they plug them in, and you just go. So I went to my kit to see if everything was set up the way that I wanted it, and I couldn't hold the drumstick in my left hand.
Oh, wow.
Like I literally just couldn't hold it. It was just like falling out of my hand and stuff. I had no control of my grip. So I run to my tour manager, and we're going on in like an hour from then. And I tell my tour manager, I was like, Meg, it's like, we need to find a doctor right now. It's like I said, I literally cannot hold the stick. We got to see somebody. And thank God there was a doctor on site.
Oh.
And I go to him. It was in Holland. It wasn't in Belgium. It was in Holland because the doctor was Dutch. And thankfully, he spoke English.
Yes.
And he's like, "What's the problem?" And I said, I have this pain in my wrist, and I can't hold the drumstick. And he like grabbed my hand, and he shifted a few things around. He's like, "How's that?" And I was like, all the pain went away, and everything was fine. I was like, "You're a miracle worker." I was like,
Wow.
"What happened?" I was like, "What did you do?" And he explained it to me. He was like, he goes, "There's like 60 bones in your wrist, little bones." He said one of the bones was pressing against a nerve. And he asked me, he goes, "Do you do stretches?" I was like, "Yeah, I do a lot of them." He's like, "You probably did. You probably moved the bone shifted doing one of the stretches." So I cut out a lot of my stretching routine.
Yeah. So the stretching was bad.
Yeah, it wound up being bad. Yeah.
Wow.
So now my routine is I have a couple of drinks, I do a couple of quick stretches, and then that's it.
Oh, that sounds perfect.
No yoga.
Yes. Wow.
No yoga, Pilates, none of that stuff. Keep it real simple.
Body workout. So you are getting, it's exhausting, I'm sure, to play all the weekends that you're playing and all the movements that you encompass in there.
It's physical work, but I feel fine. Knock on wood. I don't wake up in the morning all sore and aches and pains and arthritic, or I kind of feel the same as I did, say, when I was like in my 30s.
Great.
Yeah, and I've always had a good heart rate, thank God. As I got older, I put on a little bit of weight, so that was, I guess, fighting against me when I guess performing or playing. But like in the last like year and a half, I lost like almost 30 pounds.
Wow.
Yeah, stress and anxiety. I don't suggest it. But when I'm playing, I feel fine. We play, and it could be, a lot of nights, for sure, we're playing outdoors all summer. A lot of times, like, hot and humid and stuff. But it seems like whether I play 30 minutes or if I'm playing an hour and a half, I still walk off stage with the same amount of sweat and the same amount of exhaustion. But while I'm playing, it doesn't bother me at all. When the show, there's plenty of nights where the show ends and it feels like the show went by really quickly. Right, I could keep going. It'd be fine. Age is just a number.
That's right.
That's right. That's right.
And rock and roll keeps you young.
For sure.
Yeah.
Donette?
Yeah, I was wondering about your appearance on the Howard Stern show with Typo Negative.
Okay.
He turned out to be such a fan. Did you know that in advance, or?
Well, we knew. I was aware that he loved the song. He loved the song Cinnamon Girl.
Yeah.
And one of the guys from his show had approached us. Like, we became friends with him. I forget the guy's name, but this was, in New York, and we're from New York. Mm-hmm. And he would come to the show, and he would always tell us, Howard's always talking about you guys. He loves that song, blah, blah, blah. And he was working it out where he's like, we should have you guys come up and play the song, play it on the show. And at the time, we were doing a lot of touring, and we actually had a day off in New York. I think we were playing New York City the night after. And so we worked it out. We had gotten to the studio. I mean, it was really super early in the morning when we played. I think it was like like 7 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
Something really ridiculous. And they loaded in. I remember, like, they loaded in the night before. I want to say the crew had gotten all the instruments and everything into the studio the night before, and then we were able to just come in. And I remember we were on tour, but I was home the night before, and I remember taking a car with my ex-wife. They sent a car for us, and I lived in Staten Island at the time, and they sent a car for us, brought us to the studio, and we played the song, and I was kind of nervous about Howard because back then he was way more. He was a lot edgier and stuff. I
Right.
remember Howard Stern on radio in New York when I was a teenager, and it was completely off the rails
Oh yeah.
when he was on AM radio. And so I
I
wasn't
didn't know
really,
that one. I didn't even know he
yeah,
was on EM. Oh, interesting.
yeah. Well, he started. I know in New York. I think I was like 15 years old when he started in New York, and my friends and I, like in the late '80s and stuff, when he would do the pay-per-view specials and things like that, we would always buy them and we'd get together, have parties, and watch them and stuff. So when we did the show, now we're gonna meet him. I really wasn't sure what to expect, and I was really apprehensive about introducing my ex-wife to him because you really didn't know. It's like, is he going to be, like the way he is on a show, or is he going to be, more docile? And he wound up being really nice. He was like very, very cordial and really nice and pleasant, and so that was cool. And I remember that day we performed the song on the show, and then I ran back home, and then I drove down to Atco, New Jersey, which is kind of like near like Philadelphia, Camden, down south. For other friends of mine at home, they rented the racetrack there that day, and so they were racing their cars all day. They rented the track just for themselves. So I jumped in my car and drove down to Acco and was racing my car all afternoon. I was like, come on, let's hurry up. I want to go race my car. Yeah, that was like a lot happened in that one day.
So was he different then and off the air?
He was nice. He was nice.
Yeah.
He was totally cool. There wasn't any jokes or sarcasm or hijinks of any sort. He was just really cool. And he was thanking us, thanks for coming on the show, love the band, that kind of stuff.
That's great.
Real brief. It was brief.
Yeah.
But it was nice.
Yeah. I remember going to interviews, and it's just like talking to a normal person. Then they turn around, they get on the mic, and they're like, "You're here with the WNBC or whatever." It's like suddenly this transformation.
Yeah. Right. They get into character.
Exactly. Yeah.
But
interesting.
yeah, he was just totally cool. Just like it just seemed like just a normal guy. So that was cool.
Yeah.
And a lot of times when they'll repeat the performance on his show, they'll replay it.
Mm-hmm.
And then my friends, like, this was like, when he was in New York, and they would repeat it. My friends, they're playing the song. Your guys are on the Stern show.
That's so cool.
And then
that must be an amazing feeling. Especially having been a fan initially of his.
Yeah. What was cool was he interviewed Neil Young.
Oh, wow.
So when he had Neil Young on the show, he was like, "Hey, did you ever hear this version from this band Typo Negative? Did you ever hear their version of Cinnamon Girl?" And Neil Young had no clue. And he was like, "Oh, no, you got to check it out. It's great." And then when he had Neil Young on the phone, my phone started blowing up. Dude, he's talking about the band with Neil Young.
And did Neil Young ever reach out to you, or ever did
No. We go with stuff like that when you do covers, you're not really dealing with the artist. You're dealing with their publishing company.
Mm-hmm.
And on Typo Negative's Bloody Kisses record, we did a cover of Seals and Crofts' Summer Breeze. And initially, the demos that were done, this was before I joined the band, but when they did the demos, they changed the lyrics to one of the verses, and it was kind of like making fun of our guitar player and stuff. It was like good. Yeah. And Seals and Crofts countered that, saying that if you want to do the song, you have to use the original lyrics because you're going to hurt the integrity of the song. So they wouldn't let us release their version with alternate lyrics. And but that was the only time I've ever really had to encounter where we've had to encounter doing something with the artist. Like we covered we covered the Beatles. And this was around the time when we did the Howard Stern show, around that time, like 1999. And at the time, the Beatles were very particular about who they let cover their music. They were very protective of their the rights. And so we put this cover together, and we liked it. And at the time, like our record label, our manager, everybody was fighting us about it. They were like, "You're not going to be able to use it." The Beatles just rejected the Red Hot Chili Peppers and stuff. They'd be like, they're really tough. And they'd be like, well, what's the harm in submitting it? If it gets rejected, then we can't use it. If it does, it's going on the record. Because they didn't want a cover record on it, because then you're not really getting the publishing from that. So like, nobody's really the Beatles are making the money on that, not Typo Negative, publishing company or record label or anything. And so we're like, well, what's the harm in submitting it? Let's just submit it, and if it gets rejected, we'll go from there. Anyway, the Beatles approved it.
Wow.
So we were like, all right, awesome, put it on the record. And they had the way that we did the song, they charged us the publishing on it for 3 songs. They said it was a medley, which it was. It was 3 songs. It was Day Tripper, If I Needed Someone, and then it ended with the She's So Heavy part and From Abbey Road. We got away with Tomorrow Never Knows in there, but they didn't pick up on it. We got away with that. And at the time, they turned around and they were like, if you want to use the song, it's going to cost you $75,000 up front.
Wow.
Yeah. And so we turned around to the label, pay the man. They weren't happy about that, but we considered it a win, because we love the way that the version came out. We love the way that we did it and stuff. And we were like, it's something cool to have on the record. And we ultimately it got on there, but a lot of times it's not like we were dealing with Paul McCartney. We're dealing with Paul McCartney's publishing company and John Lennon's publishing company stuff. That's who you're really dealing with. Like I get a lot of fans a lot of times messaging me, hey, I want to use the Typo Negative song in this video that we're doing. Is it okay if we use it? And I really don't. We don't have a say in the matter. Our publishing company is the one that determines whether another artist can use our songs or not. So,
well, to kind of piggyback off what Donna asked about being on the Howard Stern show, so you mentioned that Typo Negative was asked to tour with Ozzy and do Ozfest back in 96, 97. So you were on tour with Ozzy Osbourne, which is it's very of the moment right now with the whole Back to the Beginning show, and everyone's very focused on Ozzy. And so I'm a big fan of Ozzy, but what was it like as this young, still kind of well, you had toured with Mötley Crüe. You were opening act for Mötley Crüe.
When we toured with Ozzy, the first tour that we did with him, we had just gotten a gold record.
Okay. So
we had a little bit of value. And actually, when we did that tour, that was in '96, right? This was right before the October Rust record came out. So we had on the tour with Bloody Kisses, that record went gold. We were on tour for a year and a half, 18 months.
Wow.
And we were on tour for 18 months. We got home and we had another record. We were back on the road 6 months later. Jeez. And then we were out on the October Rust record. We were out for 14 months. where it was like pretty much nonstop touring. You come home for like a week, and then you're back out again for a month, and you come home, you go back out, come home, go back out. But usually you're only home for, if you're home for a few days, you're home for maybe like a week, and then you're gone again for 4, 5, 6 weeks at a clip. And so 6 months, the record was written, demoed, and recorded within 6 months from when we got off the tour bus. Came home and basically just went right to work. And so we got this tour with Ozzy, and the record really wasn't quite done yet. and the internet really wasn't a thing at that point. So we had asked Ozzy's people if we could. The tour started in Fresno, California. So Fresno, and then 2 days off, and then starting up in like Salt Lake City again. So we asked them, could we skip the Fresno show and just meet in Utah? Because that would have given us like 3 to 4 extra days where we could get more work done on the record. And they basically told us, if you're not in Fresno, don't bother showing up to any of the shows. Wow. So we haul ass in a bus, tour bus, and flights and all this shit. And we haul ass from New York to Fresno. We get to the show. Ozzy cancels the show.
Oh my!
On purpose, just out of spite, or what?
No, the show got canceled like an hour before it was supposed to start, or like 2 hours or something like that. We got all the way there, canceled the show, and then had 2 days off. But it was cool. That was awesome. Touring with Ozzy Osbourne was one of my heroes growing up, and it would be so strange, like standing on the side of the stage, say like watching. We were on tour with this other band, Sepultura, and I remember just watching Sepultura play on the side of the stage, whatever. And I turned around, next to me, Ozzy's standing next to me watching the band. He's like, "Oh, it's like and it's just like small talk."
Yeah.
So I was like, "Geez, I'm having small talk with Ozzy." It's like, you gotta take a second. And Peter, our singer, was always a clown, and he was always messing around with Ozzy and stuff. And whenever you would see him, "Hey Ozzy, vocal lessons, our dressing room, 1 hour." And but we didn't really see him too much. You'd see him like a little bit before the show, like riding on his exercise bike or doing something, getting ready for the show. And then usually after the show, you didn't see him. He was gone. And then we a year later, when they did Ozfest, we got invited to do that, and we did Ozfest, and it was like going to summer camp. We just did the whole summer doing Ozfest, and then short set. We played early, and it was the rest of the night was go nuts.
Well, that's cool.
And we had a lot of friends on the tour and stuff between all the bands that were playing and all the crew guys and we were on tour with Pantera. We did a lot of touring with Pantera on the Bloody Kisses record. So to do Ozfest with them, that was a lot of fun. And then Marilyn Manson came on the tour, and it was cool in the sense that, because at that time, Marilyn Manson was like public enemy #1. So you always saw like you pull up to the venue, the stadium or whatever, you see all the protesters and stuff, and, you're going to hell. It's like, you have no idea.
So compared to touring with like Mötley Crüe, was it like was the Ozzy tour more wild than the Mötley Crüe? I feel like Mötley Crüe. Wow.
Well, at that time, when the tour that we did with Mötley Crüe, John Corabi was singing, and Vince Neil wasn't in the band at that time, and the tour itself really wasn't doing that well for them. For us, it was great because we were this unknown band, and Mötley Crüe just wanted us on the tour because they liked the band. They were listening to Bloody Kisses while they were working on the record. And when they put their tour together, they were like, get these guys, get Typo, and their booking agent, their managers. Nobody wanted the band because the band literally had no value. We were virtually an unknown band at that point, and they were like, we like the band, we want them on the tour. So we did the tour. That was the first like big tour that we ever did. And we were playing that summer, the summer of '94. We were playing amphitheaters and sheds all over the country. And it was, for us, it was great. But for Mötley Crüe, the tour really wasn't successful at all. And we would play like these large amphitheaters and things like that, places like that, and a lot of them, there weren't a lot of people there. But for Type O Negative, 3,000 people at an amphitheater, that's 3,000 people more than had Type O Negative been playing there on their own.
Yeah.
You know, we show up in Pensacola, Florida, we're playing to 12 people. You know, you play with Mötley Crüe, it's not a successful tour for them because, you know, they're playing a place that holds 10,000 people and you only have 3,000 there. That's not successful. They're not doing well. But for us to be in front of those 3,000 people, that's a win. And for some crazy stroke of luck, their audience liked us. And that's kind of what started things for Type O. Before that, the biggest thing we did, we opened up for Nine Inch Nails. We did a short tour with them. We did like 12 shows with them on the West Coast, like around when the Downward Spiral had just been released. So they were they were doing multiple nights in small rooms. So you do like the Warfield Theater in San Francisco, you do 2 nights. And then later on, Nine Inch Nails went to much bigger things, but they did this little tour first, and the band that they had scheduled to do that run of dates with them broke up. Like the band broke up like 3 days before the tour, and then they were like, Trent Reznor was like, "See if Type O will do it," and we got a call. And we drove cross country. We had to be in Seattle in like 3 days or 4 days. And we just jumped literally in a minivan and a little cube truck and drove cross country. And we got to the Moore Theater in Seattle just in time. We made it there just in time for loading.
Wow.
Yeah. But Mötley Crüe was basically they were the main reason. They were the biggest part of us getting that kind of exposure for us to go on to bigger things. And you know, they were the first ones to really take us out. And then after that, then we were able to go out. We went out with, we were doing a lot of stuff on our own too. Like we did, like the minute the Mötley Crüe tour ended, we didn't even go home. We just stayed out. We stayed out and started doing club tours. We were doing clubs in all the cities that we played with Mötley Crüe. And then people were showing up. And then we went out with Danzig, then we went out with Pantera, then we went out with Queensryche, and that was the last like big band that we toured with before we finished on that record. But we had gotten these support slots with these cool bands, and it was able to expose us to a lot of people. And that's how it started, you know, a little bit at a time, up.
Awesome.
But it disappeared for a year and a half. It literally disappeared. You know, go home, see my family and my brother. You know,
No personal life.
No. The personal life was the tour bus.
Yeah.
You know, and then when you get home, you're only home for a short while, so you kind of kept the atmosphere of the tour bus at home, and you just kind of kept going at that speed. But you could do that when you're 25 years old. Now it's a little different.
Were you, as part of Type O, were you guys the ones who chose and designed the album cover art back in the day?
Yes.
You did. So you all
Yeah.
and controversial.
Which one are you referring to?
Like the scratch and sniff sticker, you know.
Yes.
I mean, I can imagine.
Hang on 1 second. Hang on.
Okay.
I mean, I can hear you talking. I just wanted to get a drink.
Well,
Oh,
the
Oh, I thought he had the album
I
somewhere.
thought you were gonna go get the album.
What is
No,
it?
I don't have them here.
well,
But
I'm
the
imagining
scratch and sniff
this.
record, it's such
Well,
an accomplishment.
the table going, do you think they'll let us, that this will work? You know, I didn't know if it was something. Oh,
We had been trying to do that for years. And I mean, this was even when, right, there's that album cover. And then when I joined the band, we did another more Walmart friendly version of the cover because a lot of places wouldn't carry it because of the graphic nature of it. But we had always joked around saying like this record should be a scratch and sniff record. And so decades later, we're doing now we're like reissuing stuff on vinyl and stuff like that. And the subject comes up again about that record, the origin of the feces, and we're like, this really needs to be a scratch and sniff record. and our manager, because even though the band's been inactive for 15 years, it's still a company. We have a manager and stuff, and so there's always things being done like merch in our catalog and stuff like that. And he's been telling us for years, he's like, Universal is not going to allow this to happen. They're not going to put it out. Let it go. And then a couple of years ago, he was like, he turns around, sends a text message to everybody, and he said, they okayed the scratch and sniff record. And we were like kids at Christmas. We were like, I can't believe this is great. It's so juvenile.
Was Peter the star of that album cover?
That's yes.
They figured.
And the photographer insisted on never ever getting credit for the photo.
Wow.
That was the only way he would take the picture.
What is the picture?
Didn't want it.
Yeah,
you can explain it to her.
What was the scent of the scratch and sniff? What was the scent? Is that also not?
I've never smelled it.
Okay.
Actually, there was a guy at the last Quiet Riot show, and he had the album. He had the album there, and he asked me to autograph it. And he had the plastic open, and I tried to smell it. I really couldn't smell anything. But I remember, like, our manager was like, he goes, I have to approve the scent. And so he's telling the company, trying to describe to the company what he wants them to make. The company that makes the scratch and sniff stuff, they manufacture the scents. And he was like, try to put together the most disgusting things that you can possibly make. And so they sent all the samples to my manager's house. And he's like, I have to go through the samples. But yeah, I never got to smell it. The copies that I have, they're still sealed and everything. So I never opened one. But some bands, they have the legacy of, they'll make it into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, or they'll have some other kind of notoriety for some kind of like artistic statement and stuff. Typo Negative will be, our singer was in Playgirl, and we have a scratch and sniff record of Peter's asshole.
Well, we've all seen Playgirl now.
Oh.
That's our legacy.
Yes. Quite something.
Which I think is like the irony in that is great. I love it.
Yeah, that's actually pretty cool.
Yeah. You're not going to find too many people that have a scratch and sniff record of that. Like when I first joined the band, I was in the band for a little while, and my grandmother, she was like, I was in a record store the other day. She was like, I was going to buy one of your records. And then she goes, I saw the titles of the record of the songs. She's like, I can't have that in my house. She was like, I'm happy that you're working. She goes, but I can't have that in my house. I'd be like talking to my mother. tell her like, yeah, I'm going away this week or whatever, but whatever. I got shows next week. She go, oh, like who you working with? And I'm like, oh, I'm going out with hookers and blow. And she'd be like, oh, that's nice. That's nice. Good. Glad you're working. Yeah.
Oh, so funny.
Funny stuff. Yeah.
Mare, do you have a question?
I do have a question about this growth of AI in the music industry. I don't know if it's affected you guys at all, or how you feel about it. If it's changed the industry in a good way, a bad way. So I just wanted your thoughts on AI and how it might be affecting everything.
We like 2 years ago, we did an all AI video of a song off of Dead Again, Halloween in
Okay.
Heaven, and like I'm not too well versed in AI and how it's used. I know basically you put in the information and then it will come up with something. And some of the stuff that was in there, it was like there was a lot of emails, a lot of back and forth. Like you got to change this, you got to change that, and it's not like just dealing with somebody say because it was all animation. The whole video was
Okay.
animated, so it looks like the whole video looks like those old Halloween decorations. Like remember the bats and the cat and stuff that you would put on your windows, and it wound up looking like animated versions of that with us.
Oh, I'd love to see that. That sounds cool.
And so it was like a kitschy thing to do. We were doing a reissue of the record, and obviously we're not going to make a video of the band isn't going to make a video. There's no band. And so they did something with this. AI was like a new technology at that time, the way it was being used. And just a couple of weeks ago, I was with a buddy of mine here, and he showed me this app where it could literally make songs.
Wow.
Full arrangements, vocals, harmonies. You put in what kind of song, if you want it to be like a country song or a rock song, a metal song, a rap song, and you put in what you want it to be about. And like a minute later, it comes up with an entire song.
That's crazy. Wow.
There's a thing now, like a lot of people have been talking about it. There's an AI band on Spotify.
Oh, really?
Spotify created an AI band, and it has
Velvet,
like millions.
Velvet something.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
I forget the name of the band, but they have like millions and millions of streams, and the band it's AI generated.
Yeah,
the whole
I
thing.
listened to some of that. It did not really impress me, but it's pretty run of the mill.
Right. It's like I was explaining the app that my buddy, he literally put it in my phone. He's like, "What do you want the song to be about?" And it came up with this whole song. I was like, "Holy shit!"
Yeah. Wow.
Like in a minute, but it's pretty generic. There isn't anything groundbreaking in it and stuff like that. But I'm sure
I tried reverse engineering the AI, and I put in some a description of a song. I think it was The River, Bruce Springsteen, and
right.
What it came up with was it was really it was subpar at best. So I mean, to me, I think there's really no substitution for human creativity, but it is amazing what you can do.
It's always going to lack the emotional component.
Right.
And that is unique unto the individual. Always.
It's surprising how good it is, though. But yeah,
AI down the road
right.
will make me a great drummer. But
you don't need any help there.
But there will be that there's always going to be that emotional component that will always be missing from it, and I'm sure it'll get utilized. It'll get utilized in ways that could be. I don't even know if you can call it deceptive.
Mm-hmm.
It's whatever. For the purists, like the same thing with the original Quiet Riot lineup. That's not the real lineup, but but it's kind of like the same thing. Using AI to create music or to do anything.
Yeah.
So I'm not really super threatened by it, especially when I see how AI is really being used in the real world to create really crisp videos on TikTok and, and Instagram.
Well, along
which
those
I'm a fan of.
Yeah.
But like they managed to dumb it down, and
Yeah.
that's what it's there's going to be, like there'll be, Viagra, what stuff for balding, and then there'll be AI videos.
Well, and also to kind of just talk about AI, like you look at the videos, like we're going to remake a Beatles video. We're going to put John Lennon and George Harrison back in it or something like that.
Right.
So you could take something from Typo Negative. You have a
Sure.
new song. There's three
Yeah.
of you. You could recreate Peter, put him back in it.
You could write a whole record.
Yeah.
Which that on the surface really doesn't sound like such a bad idea.
Yeah. I mean,
Right.
yeah. Right. I mean, there's still interest, you still have
Yeah.
fans and
Unearthed. We just found this in the vault.
it's on my phone. I mean, wasn't that whole thing with that Quiet Riot song that had Kevin Dubrow on it? It was like on somebody's phone or something.
There was Alex found on an old phone. He found a track of him playing acoustic guitar with Kevin singing, and then they built a song. They built the song around that, where Rudy put on his bass tracks, and then they put a drum track to it. And those are Frankie's drums too.
Yeah,
that's actually Frankie playing. None of that was done with AI, not that I'm aware of.
Mm-hmm.
I don't believe it was, but that when Alex found it, he was pretty surprised by it, and it was what I thought was a cool melody line. It was a good guitar track. It was clear enough that it could be utilized in a song. And so they there was a verse, there was verses, choruses. Really just need one good chorus, and then just put it piece it together that way. But that's what they did, and Alex found it on an old phone.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
That must have been something.
Typo doesn't have anything like that. I wish we had stuff left over. We don't have anything. Fans are always asking me if there's anything.
and there's no plans to just to do anything with Typo after Peter.
It seems like the chatter is getting louder and louder now, where a lot of people are asking about it, as compared to all the years before. There wasn't really much discussion about it. There wasn't I shouldn't say discussion. There weren't a lot of inquiries about it, but now it seems like it's coming up more and more. And if it's something, if we could do something, and if it was done tactfully and with taste and for the right reasons, I would totally be into doing it. But that's yet to be seen. And like sometimes, like last year, we got an offer to do some festival, saying for the original guys, like the remaining members with another singer, we'll offer you a lot of money, but we didn't do it. But who's to say that we won't somewhere down the road? I think Peter deserves some kind of tribute, and I think that point is coming soon. It's been 15 years. We really haven't done anything, so it might be time to start having those conversations. But there isn't anything on the table. There isn't anything in the works. There isn't any, there's nothing to talk to tell you more than that. That's all there is.
Deep dark secrets you want to tell.
Yeah, right. There isn't anything like that. But it seems like the chatter is getting a little bit louder now. So who knows? Like there's so many things to consider with doing that. And it would have to be, I know for me, it would really need to be like over the top. You couldn't just have us, just like throw 4 guys into like a little tiny club and call it a tribute. It would have to be really over the top, a real proper tribute. And I don't know if that'll happen or not. Who knows?
No tossing scrap
Hard to say.
stickers from the stage.
Oh, I had so many ideas, especially during COVID. I wanted to put that album cover on masks.
Oh,
That would $1 million idea.
oh my gosh.
So I've
Represent
got
your
one
favorite
question.
band.
When we used to tour, sometimes the different bands and us would talk about gigs where everything went wrong. Do you have a story like that where everything went wrong?
I have 30 years of that.
What's your favorite one?
We were in Leipzig, Germany. And this was like 94, 95-ish. So Eastern Germany is still has that Eastern Bloc feel to it.
Yeah.
And so we're playing this festival, and we go out on stage, and like the intros rolling, and the way when Typo used to come out, it would be all like a lot of feedback and stuff, and then Peter would count us in, just like 1, 2, 3, 4. On 4, on the 1, all the power on stage went dead. Good night.
Oh no.
Which we used to do that sometimes as like a goof, and we would count, end the show, we'd walk off stage, thank you, good night, and walk off, and then wait a few minutes, and then come back out and then play the show. But this, I mean, it couldn't have been more perfectly timed.
Oh, wow.
And, right as we were about to hit that first note, everything on stage, the whole stage went dead. The generators ran out of gas.
Uh-huh. Wow. Oh, how funny.
and yeah, there were things like that often. Playing Rock am Ring, Rock am Park, which is in like Nuremberg, Germany. They put everybody, Peter, Kenny, and Josh, the way our tech writer specifies, that each instrument needs to be on its own leg of power, because it draws so many amps that if you put everybody together, just trip breakers. This show, they had the whole band on one breaker.
Oh, yeah.
We made it about 2 songs before everything shut down.
Oh gosh.
And but I mean, there was so many things like that. Mishaps, buses breaking down.
Yeah.
Shit, riots breaking out. We got sued. We got sued on Ozfest.
Oh wow.
Yeah, because somebody, amphitheater. I forget what city it was. An amphitheater. Somebody out in the grass got hurt.
That's your fault somehow.
They said that we were liable because we should have seen it happen, and we should have stopped the show and helped that person, had them get help.
I'm sure that went nowhere, right?
We settled.
Oh, that's yeah, that ends up
they
being
sued us. They sued us because it was during our set. They sued Ozzy because it was his show. They sued the promoter. They sued the venue. They sued everybody. So like the little bit from each entity settling wound up being a pretty significant amount of money for him.
Oh wow.
This person, whatever, But I mean, things like that happen all the time.
Sure. Oh yeah, it's part of the cost of doing business.
Fire department shutting down shows. And
did anyone ever protest your shows? Because you said they were protesting.
Yes, and actually, Peter and I went out and joined the protest. Yeah. It was the first tour that I did with the band. Right, I just joined the band, so this was like in the winter of the beginning of '94, and we were playing we were in Toronto, and the first record was a little controversial for the band, so the Peter got labeled a lot of the ists, and
sexist, racist, is that what you mean?
Misogynist, fascist, racist, yeah, all of them. There was a number of them that he got labeled. So
I've never heard it referred to as the ists. That's very
ists,
good.
Yeah. And I forget what ist they were protesting outside. But Peter and I went out and we were like, we should go outside. And we're literally in the crowd with them going, yeah, fuck typo negative, fuck those guys, and kill them. And we're standing in the middle of all these people and they had no idea it was us.
Well, that tells you a little something, huh?
Exactly. Yeah. So, and then we went out, so we left and we went and played the show and there were no issues. But there wasn't, later on, after the Bloody Kisses record came out, there wasn't any real controversy with the band anymore. Thankfully, we were very nervous. The first,
I was going to ask you if you missed it. It's a publicity, the controversy.
I don't know. I'm 57 years old.
Now I know all of your ages.
I don't have so much piss and vinegar in me now. I mean, it's fun to stir things up a little bit, but I think with typo, we said everything that we needed to say. We pushed enough buttons, and we had gotten past that. We had moved on to other things.
That's right.
And so when we were going back to Europe, the first tour that the band did was a complete disaster, and it was always in the news. The bomb threats, shows getting shut down, vandalism. They were breaking the windows on the bus, and they doing all kinds of things, putting posters up. And Peter, if you see this man, kill him. Like that kind of stuff. And the mayor's showing up, calling for calm, things like that.
Wow.
So then I joined the band, and this is now in the next record. The next record didn't have subject matter that was as charged as the first one was. And so now we're going back to Europe, and we were kind of nervous. We weren't really sure what to expect. Was it going to be a repeat of the last time the band was there 2 years prior, or is it going to be different? And thankfully it was different. It was a totally different experience from the first one. And then we went back to Europe a bunch of times after that. Never an issue. Thankfully. That could have gotten sideways real easily. Now we'd probably be more controversial because we had a song. Now we had a song on that record called "Kill All the White People," which was in response to everything from the first record. It was like, what are you going to say about what are you going to call me now?
Which is
yeah, exactly. Yeah, and it was fun. We would have. A couple of years later, we had this band touring with us, this band called Stuck Mojo from Atlanta. And the singer was a black guy, and he would rap. And so we're like, you got to come out and sing Kill All the White People.
Oh, wow.
So when the song comes, we have a guest singer tonight. Bones, come on out.
He did it?
Yeah, every night.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah, funny stuff.
Johnny, if we were to open your playlist right now, is there a group on there that would surprise us or that you secretly listen to that would shock?
I don't know, let me see.
Like Wang Chung.
No, I don't listen to Wang Chung. Actually, right now, the song that's on my list, the song that I was listening to was Depeche Mode.
Okay.
Oh, yep.
And what else? My Bloody Valentine, Hours. Oh wait, here's one that would probably surprise you. Where is it? Here. The Association. Never My Love.
Oh, I know that song.
And I've been listening to a lot of Beach Boys lately.
Cool.
Oh, yeah.
I guess like the most, I know for me, it was pretty unique, and I discovered them like, I don't know, like 15 years ago. This band called Sigur Rós from Iceland.
Oh.
And I love them. I have no idea what they're saying. because I believe that the language that they use is made up. They made up a language.
Oh.
Yeah. It's not like right, so they're from Iceland, right? So it's not Icelandic, it's not any of like the Nordic countries or nothing. It's called Hopelandic.
Hmm.
So it's some kind of made up language.
And what
But
happened?
I'm in love with it. I got turned on to it. I found it at working at a shop building TV scenery. And one of the guys just had it playing. And I was like, what's that?
What's the name again?
Sigur Rós.
Sigur Rós.
And they don't include any translations or anything like that.
No, I don't think so. I don't even know. I have the CDs, but I never look at them because I'm always listening to it on my playlists. Wait a minute. Oh, wait, here. I got one right here. The CD right here.
Wow.
Oh.
Let's open it.
Yes. Let's see what's inside.
I don't even have a CD player. Let's see if there's any kind of lyrics.
They probably translate it not into English, but into their own, whatever their, yeah.
No lyrics. Oh, wait, you know, I can see. I'm not very crafty with using streaming services, you know, like Spotify. I learned how to make a playlist and then just left it at that. I don't really get into it. Could take you, you know, you can get into all kinds of different things. It could take you to different places, different links, discographies, and you know, stuff like that. And I just find a song and I just, oh, that's a cool song. Let me put that in my playlist. Let's see. All right. Right. So there's this song, which is one of the greatest songs ever. I don't know if you can see that. Yeah. Let's see if there's lyrics. No lyrics. Have all this other stuff.
I can't pronounce
No
the
lyrics.
title of it.
Yeah, I can't pronounce it either. They have one record. There was a record. It was I think it was just a parenthesis. That was the record. That's the title. And it was track 1, track 2, track 3, track. Which I thought was pretty cool in a sense, like an artistic sense.
Yeah.
But the music's I love the music. It's very, very, very cool. A lot of atmosphere, a lot of dynamics in it and stuff. I mean, there's definitely some stuff that's a little too hokey for my preference, but then again, I'm listening to the Association.
They did Cherish. That's all
it was a different kind of hokey.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've been on a little bit of a Beach Boys kick lately, and usually for the most part, I stick to the classics.
Is
Zeppelin,
there
Stones,
a musician,
Beatles.
singer that you have never met that you would love to meet? That it's like on your top, 5 that you'd be nervous and excited if you met them?
Sure, I would love to meet Paul McCartney.
Okay, you're speaking her language there.
I would love to meet Mick and Keith, Plant and Page. I've always been a little apprehensive about meeting people like that, meeting your heroes, because the way that you look at their work, and then if you meet them and then they're assholes, then it's kind of disappointing.
Yeah.
And you'd be like, I don't want to listen to that song anymore. That guy was an idiot.
I've had that happen. Yeah, not from meeting anybody, but from learning about them later on.
Who was it?
It was Van Morrison, I think.
Right, he
The
likes to fight.
brown-eyed girl guy.
Right, he likes to fight with his band, right?
Yeah, apparently he's kind of a jerk, so it's unfortunate.
Aw.
I love Brown-Eyed Girl. I mean, it's a classic.
Right.
Yeah.
Like I first time I met Gene Simmons.
Oh,
Right now, Gene Simmons has a reputation of not being the most people person.
yeah.
Yeah.
So when I got the opportunity to meet him, I didn't give him a chance to be a jerk.
Smart.
I just went up to him, put my hand out, hey, big fan, nice to meet you, and I ran away.
Good.
I didn't want to get into any conversations or any small talk or anything like that. I didn't want to give him the opportunity to ruin that for me.
Didn't you just do a show with the guy from Kiss? Ace?
Yeah, we played with Ace Frehley a couple of nights ago.
Actually,
yeah, I've met Ace a few times.
oh, okay.
Yeah. And he's always been okay. So it's cool. And I met Peter Criss. I haven't met Paul Stanley yet. I'd like to meet Paul. And I met Peter Criss, and that was cool. He was really, he was nice, and we spoke a little bit, and
Hello.
and it was cool. I'm thankful that he was a really nice guy.
Yeah. So you have that you're cool. For those of us that live in Pennsylvania, Quiet Riot's playing in Allentown with Ace Frehley, I think. At the Allentown Fair. Isn't he playing at that? In
September.
August.
Yes. Is it it's August?
I think I know your tour schedule. It's August 30th. Yeah.
I don't even know where I'm going next weekend.
I'm just giving you a shout out to your Pennsylvania people.
This past weekend we played in Indiana and Kentucky. And I got home yesterday. And I couldn't remember where we were in Indiana. I forget who I was talking to, and I was like trying to talk about something that they were asking me about the show, and I couldn't remember it. I couldn't remember anything. It took me like 20 minutes to remember. Like a lot of it does become like a blur.
Yeah.
And yesterday was a total fiasco too, right? We did the show with Ace. We finish up. We go to the hotel. I get out of the car and I get a notice. My flight's been canceled. Going home for the next morning, and it says we're rebooking you on a flight, and there wasn't any information yet. And I go up to my room, open up my iPad, and I'm like trying to scramble, and I'm looking for flights on American leaving Louisville. No flights. Anyway, they rebooked me on a flight to come home today. And I wound up buying another flight on another carrier, but it was like, so then dealing with all that, whatever I was doing Friday night was so far away. I had completely forgotten it.
Your glamorous touring life, right? So you have to book your own flights.
But with Quiet Riot, we do a lot of stuff ourselves. And it's really, it's for the better. It really is a well-oiled machine. Because everything, we could pretty much sort out any problem ourselves without something going wrong, flights getting canceled or whatever, mishaps with hotels or any kind of like logistics and stuff. We're totally capable of handling it ourselves instead of us. Now we have to get on the phone and start calling our manager or our agent and stuff and say, we're stuck. Fix it. Because it's not slagging on anybody, but a lot of times that's what it is. The band will just get on the phone with somebody else and say, you need to take care of this. And for us, we're capable enough and resourceful enough where if a problem comes up, we can handle it right on the spot and not have to go through this whole chain of other people to take care of something that's happening in front of us right now. And if something goes wrong, we have nobody but ourselves to blame.
I know we're running way over time. Can't let you go.
I've got nothing. This is my Monday night. I have nothing going on.
Can't let you.
I have nothing going on.
we have to, we're starting to do this now. We're going to ask you, what is your favorite sandwich? I think Mary will enjoy this question. What are the ingredients? I'd like to know. We're just going to ask everyone. They're doing this with celebrities right now. I don't know if you've seen this, but they're
My
asking famous people.
my favorite sandwich. Well, I was going up to like the last year. I've been going back and forth up to New York a lot. You know, when my mother got sick, and I kept on going to Rocco's Pizzeria around the corner from her house. I had a lot of meatball parmesan heroes.
Nice.
And the last time I was in New York for the holiday, and I drove out to Rocco's to get a meatball parmesan hero and brought it back to my hotel. So I guess meatball parmesan,
That sounds delicious.
meatball parmesan.
I love all food. I'm crazy with that.
Or chicken.
Well, now I want to know
parmesan
everybody's favorite sandwich.
Yeah. You know, after having kids, when my daughter was growing up, I got reacquainted with peanut butter and jelly.
Yes.
And now that's become, now at my age now, it's a main source of my diet. It's so easy to make.
And peanut butter and marshmallow. I love that too. Just something simple that, the kids used to like.
Right.
I mean, I don't know if
So
you
is that your favorite then, Mary?
My
Is that your
favorite, no, I'd have to say, being Greek, my favorite is the gyro, or people say gyro.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I
yeah.
love that. So
Those are some of the best food I've ever had was in Greece.
I was going to ask you if you had been there, if you had toured there, or just,
Not many times. I went there once with Danzig and once with Typo Negative.
Wow.
And the time we went there with Danzig, which was it was exciting because I had never been there before. But Greece was in the World Cup the night we were playing.
Oh, crazy. Yeah, crazy time.
The venue was empty.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Because the game was on. Greece was in the World Cup. It was like the World Cup final or something like that. And the promoter wanted to switch the date on the show, but we couldn't. We had to go. We were playing. I think we were playing in like Mexico or something 2 days later. So we couldn't stay another day to reschedule or whatever it was. But the catering, like the food, was amazing. I got to go to the Parthenon when I was there on that trip.
Oh yeah,
too.
you can't miss that. Yeah.
Yeah, that was great. When I went there with Typo, it was literally a hit and run. We played Thessaloniki and Athens, and it was literally just run in, play, next city, play, boom, gone.
No other time for
And
anything else. Yeah.
No, I was on a plane. That was the last show of the tour that we did, and I was on a plane home the next morning. But when we played there with Danzig, they had sent us, instead of having like catering or something at the venue and stuff, they fed us at a restaurant.
Oh, it was probably like a taverna. Oh, yeah.
The restaurant, it was like we walked into somebody's apartment building.
Yeah.
It was like you walked into the lobby of like this apartment building, and then they sat us down in the yard.
Wow.
And the kitchen was like 2 flights up, and there was a spiral staircase going to the yard. And they were just bringing out food. They did the same thing at Thessaloniki. It was like family style.
That's about right.
And they just kept on bringing out food until you couldn't eat anymore.
Yeah.
And all of it was amazing. I think like all of us were taking pictures of the plates.
That's right.
And it really was some of the best food I've ever eaten. I gotta find those pictures. But I mean, it was so weird. It was so strange. It felt
like in someone's house.
Yeah.
That's great.
And it was a few blocks away too. It wasn't like, well, in Thessaloniki was right behind the back entrance to the venue. There was a restaurant across the street, and they just had a big table set up for us, and we just all sat down and just pigged out.
That's great.
It was really amazing. And but in Athens, yeah, that was really strange. We had to walk a few blocks. Somebody from the club was like, "Here, follow me," and we just like walked And then went to some dude's apartment.
Right. You got the offbeat or off track tour, whatever it is. It's not like a tourist. You just got to go like the true experience. Yeah.
Yeah. It was really amazing, and it was the Parthenon was amazing. So I'm really glad that I got to go see that, because a lot of times when you're touring, you really don't get to see a lot of that stuff. I've seen like dive bars and dirty toilets and stuff like that. I've seen that in multiple continents.
Yeah.
But to like take in like, the arts and get some kind of like culture and stuff like that, it's really not much. Like I've been to Italy a number of times, and I'm half Italian. So I was like, oh, it's whatever. My family's from here. I get to see something. And it was like, the first time I went to Italy, I went to Milan doing press. We weren't even playing. We were just doing press. And the record rep took me around that night, the night before our press. Like we flew in the night before, and he took me out to eat. And then we like walked around, and I got to see a little bit of Milan, not much. But like not first time, but I played in Florence. And Florence is supposed to be a beautiful city. There's a lot of history, a lot of culture there, and things like that. And I was like, can't wait to get to Florence. I'm going to go see some things. And we got there. By the time we got there just in time for like sound check. And the club was like on the other side of the city where all the cool stuff was. The club was on the opposite side, so I didn't get to see anything. And we literally got there that afternoon, played our show, and we were out. That didn't even stay in Florence that night. We drove. I forget where we were going, but some places I've been able to take in some stuff. Had a couple of days off. Typo's record label was a Dutch label. So we would spend a lot of time in Amsterdam. They put us up in Amsterdam and stay in Amsterdam for like a week and do interviews at a hotel and stuff. So throughout the years, I was able to spend a lot of time there and go a lot of different museums. Go like the Van Gogh Museum, the Rijksmuseum.
Yeah.
There's all kinds of stuff there, and it's a beautiful city and a lot of fun. And like when I went to the Louvre to see the Mona Lisa.
Oh well.
Right.
Yeah.
I was literally in there for about 10 minutes, because that's about how much time I had to go see it, because we were leaving.
Oh no.
Yeah. My ex-wife and I, we like jumped in a cab, went to the Louvre, saw the Mona Lisa, and then we had to leave.
But you were able to go see it. The line wasn't so long that you.
No, it wasn't that bad.
You had enough time.
Literally in there just for a few minutes. We like just really didn't get to see much, but we were like, let's go see the Mona. At least let's go see the Mona Lisa. Like the same trip, our van stopped at a red light outside the Eiffel Tower. Jumped out of the van, got a picture, and got back in the van and kept driving.
You got to do what you got to do. That's right.
Yeah. But a lot of times that's kind of how it is. You don't really get to see a lot of that stuff. Usually you're just there. You're only there for a few hours. You go there, you do your work, do your gig, and then you're gone. So I'm glad I got to see a couple of things.
I'm glad the Parthenon was one of them.
Yes, the Parthenon was one of them. I got to spend some time in Prague. That was beautiful, beautiful city.
Mary's our ambassador to Greece. So if you ever want to,
I want to take everybody there.
I'd love to go to Italy, where my family's from, because from what I'm told, I have a lot of family there. And my family's from Calabria, which is all the way down. And but no bands ever go play that far south. I've never been to Rome. Usually it's always been like Milan, Bologna, Turin, up there.
Right.
By Switzerland and stuff like that. And then you just go in, play your show, get out, and then you're in Switzerland the next night, or Austria, something like that.
You'll just have to do a personal trip there, explore your roots.
Yeah, I've always wanted to take the kids to Germany. take them to Berlin. There's a lot of cool stuff in Berlin. Berlin's a beautiful city. And I've actually taken a liking to German food too. I love schnitzels. Schnitzels and bratwurst.
That's Karen's area.
Yeah.
Yeah, Berlin is really cool. And my ex-wife is like part German or something like that, or we thought that she was German. And my daughter did the ancestry thing.
Yes.
she's like hardly German. There's like barely any German. She's mostly Irish. Yeah. And that's the other side. Irish. I've been able to go to Dublin. I've only been to Dublin a couple of times. And again, don't get to see anything. Go in, play, leave. Yeah.
Well, I think we're going to have to wrap it up because I know Mary's got another book club she's running to. Believe it or not. Mary's
not as fun as this.
Busy day for the book club.
Yeah, it's my book club day.
That's why we moved the time up. But,
yeah, thanks for doing that, everybody.
Yeah, right. Yeah, no worries.
Are you interviewing a rock star in your book club?
No, it's not going to be like anything like this. Nothing like this. But I'll probably be telling everyone about this, how great it was to interview John Kelly.
Tell them to go to the Allentown Fair, see Quiet Riot. See,
I will.
I'm promoting for you. We should do a little commercial.
Thank you. You're hired. You're hired.
If only the weather wasn't so questionable this summer, because that's another outdoor venue, the Allentown Fair. And for you, you're covered. We were out there in those horrible slickers. That is the worst. I am not.
That day in the rain. Yeah. Actually, it was raining on stage too.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, it was raining on stage, and where we were in Kentucky, this weekend the show almost got canceled because of rain.
Yeah.
Because there was some really nasty, really strong thunderstorms came through, like right between sound check and doors. This storm came through real quick, and they were debating on canceling the show or not. But that show in Harrisburg, that was a mess. That was all day, all rain, all day.
Does it ruin your equipment and your instruments?
It can. Actually, we were supposed to play in Central P. I think it was like in that same area a couple of summers ago. It was us in Skid Row. We were playing at some casino.
Well, that was a casino. That was Hollywood Casino.
There was something else. We played at a different casino in that same area. And well, we didn't play. It got rained out. And the storm came in so quickly that all of Skid Row's gear got ruined.
Oh gosh!
Oh my god!
Yeah, all the electronics got ruined. You know, like it was a backline company had provided the gear and all the stuff, all the amps and everything. They didn't. It came in so quickly. They didn't really have enough time to like get the stuff off stage to get it protected.
Yeah, that's awful.
It came in and just wiped everything out. Thousands of dollars worth of equipment. It can even ruin drums. You know, if it gets into the waterlogged into the plies in the shell and stuff like that, they start warping and separating and stuff. It can ruin the drums as well. But yeah, it was the same area. I forget the name of the casino, but it was in that Harrisburg area, like Hollywood something. Yeah, it was us in Skid Row, and I think Winger was on that bill too. Oh. And the show just got completely rained out. That was it. Done. Just on to the next one. That was it.
It's terrible.
There was no coming back from that, and it was raining. It was raining pretty hard when the storm came in. It pretty much stayed that way for the rest of the night. So there's no. Between
now and the Allentown Fair, they should make clear rain slickers that say Quiet Riot on them. Sell them there for like $25. Is this not a great idea?
Perfect idea.
I think so.
Sounds like a fabulous idea.
And hot coffee. There was no hot coffee there. They had my 86-year-old mother there sitting in the rain to see Quiet Riot. She was a
Oh,
trooper.
shame on you for
Yes.
bringing your mother out in that.
She wanted to come. She wanted to meet Rudy. She liked Bret Michael. I don't know. I was super excited to see Night Ranger because all these years, like, we love Night Ranger. I'd never seen them live before. So that was
They're
exciting.
good. It's a good live show.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were good. And I met Brett that day.
Bret
He came
Michael.
up to me talking. Yeah, he came up to me talking to me like he knew me. Like, hey, how you been?
Maybe
I've
he
never
thought
met you.
he's
He
from
liked my Harley.
Pennsylvania. You're friendly.
Yeah, I remember seeing back when I was like in high school and stuff, and seeing them like they had like music papers like East Coast Rocker and stuff like that, the Aquarian. And I remember seeing ads for them for Poison in like these papers,
Yeah.
magazines, and this was before they were, before they got signed and stuff. And I remember seeing, I was like, wow, these chicks are cute. I looked hard, I was like, oh shit, they're guys. My bad.
Well, I guess we're gonna have to wrap it up.
Okay.
Well, thanks for joining us, Johnny, and thanks for the music. We all enjoy it.
Yeah, thank you so much. And so interesting to hear all your stories. Thank you.
Yeah,
I
thank
told
you
my
very
kids,
much.
I told my girls, I said, I don't have a 401k, but I have a lot of stories. I said,
You gotta write a book.
I don't have a retirement, but I have a lot of stories.
Book, a Lifetime movie. I mean, whatever. Don't worry. No, thank you
Well,
so
thank you.
much. So much fun.
Thank you, girls, for having me on. I
Thanks.
appreciate it. It was a lot of fun.
All right.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Bye. Take care.
Bye.
Bye,
Everybody have a
everybody.
good have a good night.
You too.
Bye.
Bye.